All right. If you're watching me on Justin TV right now, you're watching me on low resolution. But if you're watching me on YouTube, you probably see me in higher resolution. Uh, Basically, man, I just want to talk about. Tell you what, I mean, uh, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? What are you gonna do when they kidnap you in the United Slaves of Abduction? Why do I say that? I mean, it's because I want to hit you straightforward with the real facts before we get into all the, stigmatization and stuff. Because I'll get into that here in a minute, anyways. But look, here's the thing. I was watching Cops tonight, and it was kind of like, what are you gonna do when they come for you? Because you know, I'm sitting here watching person after person after person being enslaved, literally enslaved, behind what you know as quote unquote drug prohibition. Um, this is not real. Drug prohibition isn't real. It is outright slavery. First of all, let's just go to free choice. First of all, free choice. Okay, and then beyond that, once you reach a certain age of discretion, it's really beyond the point. You know what I mean? And so one of the obstacles you run into is being too obviously in the right, because it would be like if you were in Nazi Germany and you handed a piece of paper to someone and it just said, I mean, here's how you do it in Nazi Germany. You just hand a piece of paper to somebody and it says, I am a Jew, or being a Jew doesn't make me criminal or necessarily, um, uh, you know, in a position to be exterminated. I mean, if you just gave them that page, they would just take it and crinkle it up and throw it on the ground, And so you can't sit there and just say something like that in America because people are already under the gross misinterpretation of the facts as to what's acceptable and what is not acceptable behavior for human beings. Because look, I mean, slavery is not acceptable. Obviously, I mean, you know, and it is. It's just, it's a joke, and that's why I just say slavery's going on, and then a lot of times we won't even go into what it is. Just leave it in the description, and because you get all kinds of negative feedback. People, they feel. I don't know. I do a lot of answers on Yahoo Answers, and people sometimes, if you answer their question and they're kind of trying to toe some type of partisan line or something, or thinking that they're part of something, and you try to say something like, uh, you know, uh, this is all just a joke or whatever. I mean, they'll report you on Yahoo Answers, and I don't know. It's just a nightmare, in my opinion. And sorry, I know I sound like I have allergies right now. I do. I sneeze, man. I counted this number of sneezes earlier tonight, and it was somewhere around 10 in a row. Sneezed just one after 10 times. And I've seen people sneeze like that before in my family, but 10 is a pretty high number. So, anyways, I think that's basically all I wanted to say. It was just basically, it's a joke what I'm looking at on television. It's a joke. The society, 6,000 innocent Americans enslaved every single day is not an acceptable number. Okay, I also want to get into something real quick. If you want to help support me to have better sound equipment and stuff like that, a green screen is something I would like to have, and a better microphone and a better setup on this is something that I ended up. And this right here, I mean, that's pretty good. It's around my neck or whatever, but you know, it's a pain in the ass. I don't really like it, but it's better than what I had before. But uh, you know, I would like to have something I can get, from the Guitar Center, just one of their. It's probably about 150 bucks, for that. And anyways, it's not that big of a deal. But if I could get it, sometimes my videos get a few views, not that many views, but oh man, my voice just cracked. Anyways, the point of the story is that I just wanted to put that out there. You can send me some money, man, and please don't send me a whole lot if you don't have the money, and please, if you don't just have just a huge amount of money, don't. If you got a lot of money, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you. I don't want half your life savings or anything just because you believe in my message or anything crazy like that. I'm not even saying exactly how much I want from you. I think every individual person. I mean, if you have not a whole lot of money at all, please don't send me. I mean, seriously, I just really just want to target people who have got some money, and at that point, I'm not wanting a whole lot of their money either. Just a small amount of that money too. So just small donation is fine. If you can, but either ways, that's fine. If not, either ways, the point of the story is that it's just a nightmare. It's just a nightmare, and it's. Man, I don't know what to say. This is something I get into a lot, and it's not the only thing that I know. And my webcam's all screwed up too. I don't know how that webcam's never worked. I don't know why, but either ways. And then I had another one just quit working on me, which was actually a pretty good quality webcam. But either ways, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's I don't know. That's something that I stick to a lot. Talking about people being enslaved and stuff like this. And there's a whole lot of stuff I know about. To be honest, I could sit here and tell you all kinds of stuff. But that's something that I stick to a lot because I know a lot about it. Right now, one of my biggest things that I can say in that regard that I've contributed, that I feel good about, is just a compilation of just information that I've done. Excuse me. I've done over time. It took me about a year. If you want to know the truth, took me about a year and a half maybe. And just basically just constantly just looking through the internet for statistical information on drug prohibition. Incidentally, I found a lot, and incidentally, it was, I guess, the way the search engines work, it was feeding me different information. So every time I do a search, I wait a few months, do another search, I find new stuff, and I just started putting it into a playlist. And I put a lot of that information together into one video, and it come out around 5 hours. But I would say some of that stuff is on prisons and private industrial complex and stuff like that. But still, I guess you could say related. But the stuff I should have put in there was about the banks and stuff like that. So I'll have to end up doing another version of that video. But needless to say, quite a bit of information. One of those videos alone is about an hour and a half. About an hour and a half of just statistical information. And so I take a lot of the very, very important stuff that he's put it in, and just basically did a list of that information. And so then I just eventually got around to thinking about, well, wanting to have at least credit for doing all the research, and then so I was thinking about Yahoo Answers, and so I realized that stuff will be on there supposedly forever, or at least as long as Yahoo exists, so maybe for a while, and that'll just be in reference state, for at least, I don't know, at least I can say that as of now, I did do that research, and you can go and see it. But no, if you go to Yahoo Answers and you type in Prohibition and do a search query, I think it's the second one that comes up, was just a compilation of stuff that I've done. And I think probably the reason why is probably it did get referenced to different sites and stuff like that over time, so maybe made it more relevant. And that's what I was hoping to do. I knew that just one of these things posted up could make a huge difference. But let me tell you something. I posted probably, hundreds of them. But, any single one of them could make a huge difference, that somebody does a vote on and mine makes it to the top or something, and then you can see it easily and stuff. And, you know, it's the internet, you know what I mean? So that's the power of knowing, at least. And and it's a little overstating the case in a way. I mean, if you take into consideration that this is your life, you know what I mean. What you do in your private time is your business. You know what I mean. It really, we don't need to go do statistical research to find out if that's right or wrong. Would it be wrong if we banned all steak in the United States? Maybe. I mean, would it be? Would it make heart attacks go down? I don't know. Would it make? Would it be right if we just start putting people in prison? Whoever did get found with steak, I mean, like 20 years. You know what I mean? 50 years. A lot of people like smoking pot. You know what I mean? Maybe you could see kind of where I'm going with this a little bit. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Does it make it okay at that point? I mean, some people will say yes. I know they will. But this has gotten so far from any idea of what America's supposed to be about. You know what I mean? To that place where people are like, yeah, hey, hey, you know what? While you're just saying that, let's just go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? Let's just go ahead and make flying kites illegal too, because that could get wrapped up in a power cord. Kids could get hurt. And somebody right now is listening to this, and they're going, "Hey, you know what? That's true. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that." You know what I mean? I mean, that's the kind of crap I'm talking about. In 20 years for a kite, yeah. Hey, you know what? While you just said that, you know what? Because you're trying to be sarcastic, but there, you know what I mean? I mean, that's sad to say that the country's gone that far. You know what I mean? When at one point, this country was just amazing people just fought and died for this country. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it just makes me sick sometimes. And, I like the story of John A. Logan is my personal favorite, But, I don't know. But the point of the story is that, I mean, you just go to his museum website and read about this dude. And I mean, seriously, some of the stuff some people have done for this country, man, is just, it just blows me away, and it's just sad, and really kind of does destroy the memory of what this country's supposed to be, because he did found Memorial Day, and so it's a good example for me in that sense, because that's what it's all about. It's about remembering what other people did so that you can be free. Somebody resigned from the Senate, went into battle, was shot through the shoulder, had it bandaged, went back into the battle. I mean, this is a guy who was a senator. I mean, this is something to remember and to think something about this country. At least think something about this country. I mean, at least think something about it. I mean, it doesn't have to be much, but I mean, think that you're better than trash. Think you're better than pure garbage. Think that you're better than just being thrown away and rotting in a system, in a prison, in a gulag, or what? It's a slavery. It's a dungeon. You know what I mean? And think you're better than that, man. Really think you're better than that. It doesn't matter what it takes. Just think you're better than that, please. I mean, seriously. You know what I mean? You don't have to remember every great person who ever lived. I mean, seriously, man. It's better than that. You're worth more than that. You know what I mean? You're worth more than just like the poop on the bottom of my shoe that I just stepped in, a dog's crap, that stinks like so bad, and they got drug all through the carpet, and there was bugs in it, and just, Oh, it's just like nastier than peanut butter, just goop all over the, you know what I mean? I mean, you're better than that, you know? You're better than that, you know? And you're better than a rotting corpse on the side of the highway. You know, sometimes you see like an actual corpse on the highway. It's not a human corpse, but like a dog that just the meat's all scraped off, and you're better than that. You know, I mean, you're better than that. You know, I mean, there's just, I mean, it's better than that, man. It doesn't have to be like that. You know, and it's just sad. It is. It's just, I don't know what to call it. It's just really, it's insulting in a way, and I'll tell you, it is insulting, you know, because it is. It is. I mean, there's a lot of people who really put up a lot, you know, for us to just be somewhat free. I mean, you know what I mean? They did. They went through fighting and death and everything else. And, you know, it's not that I want to stand behind them because I don't want to go through it because, I mean, I feel like I've already been through something like that. I mean, seriously, if the cops came for me today for like a 10-year sentence or 20-year sentence behind drugs or something and I had a gun, I mean, we would probably have to make a martyr out of ourselves at that point because, you know, prison for that long is just not an option. It's just not, you know, it's not for me, you know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I know for a fact that I'm going and there's no way, bro. And that's the scary thing, man. You know, you get me in somewhere like Oklahoma or something, and I do have a deadly weapon. I mean, seriously, I don't know what's gonna happen, you know. And eventually, it'll probably have to get like that for everybody, but really, it should be already, you know, because if you think about, well, yeah, you can bond out and then try to escape the country or something, but you know, I mean, if you think about, you know, what it really could come to before they're just shooting us in the street, I mean, it's not a whole lot. And if you think about going to jail and like you have no bond or something, and you do have a gun, I mean, it's either use it on yourself or use it on the guys trying to take you away, and then probably just go ahead and use it on yourself. But I mean, you know, I mean, why not? You know what I mean? Why not just try to leave something better for the next person? You know, it's not like it's not Christian. You know what I mean? It is Christian. You know, I mean, if you really read the Bible, you know, sure, you know, you get plenty of messages about how Jesus Christ told him, you know, that who lives by the sword dies by the sword, but that you don't really hear very often the fact that he told him to go and get the sword. You know, and I'm not trying to get all uppity on you or nothing, but I mean, seriously, think about what you're about to do. I mean, in my opinion, if you want my advice personally, and you're facing like 50 years in penitentiary, yeah, I mean, look, try to run, try to throw it, try to trash it somewhere, or just try to shoot. You know, because prison is just not an option. You know, seriously, not an option, and it shouldn't be an option. You know, and it shouldn't. I think some of the great American heroes of yesteryear would probably tell you that, you know, but it's not just about them. It's about, you know, um, it's about you, you know what I mean? And it is about them too. Because really, you let everybody down. You let down your ancestry. You let down yourself. You know what I mean? You don't realize it. You know what I mean? Yet, you know, because that's what you've been trained. You know what I mean? And it's sad, it's scary when you realize how deep the training is to me sometimes. And I think it's just been going on forever, you know. One way or another, they found ways to, in their own words, bemuse the population into things like football and stuff, and they don't pay any attention, they don't read books, and try to figure out what exactly it is that's going on, when in reality, that is the best, probably, source of entertainment you could ever have in your life. Probably the people who, at the very, very, what you call top, which is really the bottom, to be perfectly clear, uh, the people who try to break society's back to get, or to basically loot society, probably for entertainment, probably sit around and read books, you know. And it's not because, oh, you know what, they got ahead, they're smart, they read books. It's because they know that entertainment is reading. They've trained you to think it's not. I mean, that's, you know, that's what I'm talking about. And they are trash. I mean, they're pure trash. They have no self-respect or anything, you know. And that's why when I read these books about all their friends and stuff, quote unquote, you know, associates and stuff, it makes me wonder, how did they respect these people enough to even spend time with them, you know? Or how do they respect? But see, then you have to understand what has been established over time. You know, you got a central bank now, you got this. So yeah, they took over, you know, so I think about that too, but it still does strike me sometimes because, well, anyways, the point of the story is that, I mean, just let me give you an example. I was reading a book yesterday, or maybe it was today, about how George Bush Sr. Is the only American in the history of the United States to be in the Navy Air Force without having served 2 years. 2 years in college or 2 years in academy, I don't know. But 2 years doing something. And I think there was a lot of stuff involved in that training that had to do with, you know, basically like boot camp, you know. So basically he was just hey, you know what, we're just not going to have him do. So, and you ask yourself, well, who was George Bush Sr. in the year 1940 whatever? Nobody, really. I mean, but he was. His family was well connected. He was in Skull and Bones. He was in Skull and Bones without having been, I think he only spent 2.5 years in college and got a degree. I don't know what exactly happened with George Bush, okay? And a fact as well, the CIA has taken all of his academic records and sealed them, and they're top secret, and you cannot get any of that information. And why do you think? Probably didn't even do school, to be honest with you. And am I disappointed in all that? Really, I just kind of expect it. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, yeah, people are placeholders. People are set up. You know, it's the whole system is rigged up through the Federal Reserve System. So, I mean, just the amount of stuff I have to sit here and tell you just to explain that story in and of itself is just, it would just blow your mind. You know, there's just books, entire books written on that stuff. You know what I mean? You need to just go read a book on that because it's incredible what's been done in broad daylight. And so, you know, just an overhauling of the entire United States financial system. And it doesn't matter how many different ways you dress it up. I mean, we saw you do it. You did it. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people were killed in the way of dissent and everything else, but I mean, more or less, it just didn't anything show that even if you didn't kill that many people, that it can just be done in broad daylight. I mean, it doesn't mean that we didn't watch. You know, we have books that have been printed up in the millions, you know. So I don't know what these people think they're getting away with, or if they've even convinced themselves that they're getting away with anything. But I think they should be very well aware of the fact that we know exactly who they are and what they're doing. You know, I mean, I wouldn't want to live my life with that, you know, kind of threat. But listen, when you get all the way back up to the very top of it all, it probably is Queen Elizabeth. What are you gonna do about Queen Elizabeth? I mean, she's got the entire state of Britain. The entire army has pledged allegiance to her. No, seriously, the judges, they all pledge allegiance to the Queen. And their constitution is a constitutional monarchy. Because here's what happens. Governments collapse in on themselves. People come out at the top. It's usually just, it'll always end up being one family if you give it long enough. And that's what you call mergers. Well, who's at the very top? There's got to be somebody comes to the top. Well, it's already been done, and it was done in England and Europe and all the monarchies that sprung up of Europe. And the reason why is, exactly what I just said. And so, now in the United States, there's not going to be a monarchy in the United States. There's going to be an oligarchy in the United States, which there already is an oligarchy in the United States. And that's going to be being controlled by a monarchy in another place. And the reason is because we don't need ships or anything like that to have one country defend itself against another. All the, everything's electronic, all the currencies, the world is interconnected. The world's interconnected. So they were on the show, and I mean, what can you say? I'm not trying to contest the fact that it's going to be difficult, to get these people off of us. But we do have the internet now. We do have more information available. That they can't exactly stop that. The stuff that I've published on the internet already can never be. I can't even take it down, on Yahoo Answers. And what'll happen there? There's no telling, but it'll probably end up destroying. I mean, you have to assume that. You have to assume. And there's no telling. There is no telling. I can't tell you what's going to happen. But, the world is faster paced. Yes, this, that, and that. I don't know. I mean, at the same time, sometimes I sit there and think to myself, man, how stupid are people? Are they stupid enough to do it, even with all this information glaring them right in their face? I don't know. Really, I don't. They could be. But it is at least relieving on some level that, hey, you can go to the internet, you can see what you need to see, go from one destination to the next. It's not like a book that you have to go and buy. A lot of people will end up, selling books for money. I never do. I never, do that. A lot of times I'll end up giving books away to people. But I try to keep track of which ones I give away, and a lot of times I'll end up wanting to get them again because the books are they're good sources of reference, and in the future I'll be doing something on Yahoo Answers or something, and I'll want to know exactly what it was that I saw here or there, and if it's a good book with a good index, like Jim Mars, all his stuff is heavily sourced, heavily cited, and the index is really deep, and everything else. I mean, you can just pull that stuff up, man, and it's amazing. It's amazing information, and I don't know. I think that's about all I have to say about it, but it probably will keep your mind in better shape. I mean, and that's another thing too. I really think that they're really going to sell you short on getting into all the other attractions and stuff like that if you don't get into reading books. I mean, I just think that you're going to miss out. You're really going to miss out on something that's going to give you entertainment, A, and B, help you mentally maintain yourself in this polluted world, full of pollution and, GMOs in the food, genetically modified organisms, and, I mean, it's a nightmare, man. It's really a nightmare. A lot of fish, farm-raised fish has mercury in it. I don't know why. Stuff's not good for you. Everything. A lot of people, if you're like me, struggle with their diet. I do struggle with my diet. if you struggle with money or whatever, because the economy's collapsed all around you, or you've been enslaved 10 times and lost everything. I mean, it's not like it's going to be hard to believe in the United Slaves of Abduction. And so that's why I always end up talking about slavery and abduction, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's like people are being drugged away. I drive down the road and I'm looking off to the side of the road, and it's like these four, like, Gestapo people, and they're like holding this dude on the side of the road, and they're laughing, and they got a dog running around in his car trying to figure out if they're going to enslave him or not, or be able to have some justification for enslaving him. And who knows, they may plant some of these drugs on people, you know what I mean? And even if they don't, it's outright slavery either way, who cares, See how they got that little judgmentalism invoked into my mind too, like it even matters, but a lot of times they will plant stuff on people. But I mean, this is just a little anecdote. I was in my car and somebody goes, and the cop, he was about to read. I gave him 4 pages of statistical information. See, that's kind of like being in Nazi Germany and just giving him a single page that says I'm a Jew in Nazi Germany, or whatever, or I'm a Jew doesn't make me eligible for extermination, or whatever. Doesn't mean I'm criminal. Here's a piece of paper. No, I try to hand him this information, and they went ahead and searched my car, found enough marijuana flakes to give me paraphernalia. And, I mean, I remember the guy, he said something like, what's funny is, why do you have that? like, and then the other guy started laughing. Like, he made a valid point. You know what I'm saying? And that's just so funny, you know what I mean? And so that'd be kind of like, if you're a Jew in Nazi Germany and, like, you held up a piece of paper, like, yeah, why do you have that? Like, I just found out you're a Jew, and now I'm going to haul you away to the concentration camp. You know what I'm saying? So, in their minds, it's all about that rabid desire to haul them away. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter, hey, if you're innocent or not. It's, you know what I mean? It's die hard, we need to get you and take you away, And, that's pretty sick, you know what I mean? That's pretty sick, It's like a human dog catcher, That's like, I mean, I don't know. It's a lot. It's like a lot of stuff, It's like being kidnapped, It's like being abducted, you know what I mean? It is being abducted. It is being kidnapped, And so, it's a mess, man. I saw some guys getting arrested tonight for one of them. The cases was dealing with meth. Some other cases, some guys had some marijuana and a gun or something. Like a gun was bad or something. Oh my God, this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. Man, that pisses me off. And it is, and it's so crazy. It's because, like, I'm watching these videos. I'm watching these cops videos, and it's just one enslavement. I'm like, whoa, dude. Like, do you not just actually ever try to solve like just a crime? And you look at the statistics on the ratio of these crimes that are even resolved, on real crimes, on how drastically they've just clogged up the courts with just enslavement cases. I mean, just all kinds of police resources trying to be dedicated to, okay, let's fingerprint and see who was owning the cocaine. It's not even a crime. Got more people being held in captivity or locked up, you call it whatever you want, than China, okay, than the actual country of China, with so many people less than they got. Jeez, man, I mean, when is this crazy enough? When is this crazy enough? When is it crazy enough? When is it, golly, I mean, you know what I mean? When is it? I mean, when's this gone far enough, man? And they do, and it's like a frog in water, where they just slowly crank up the heat, because it's done every year 50,000. It's almost just like clockwork. It is clockwork. 50,000 a year, 50,000 a year, 50,000 a year, 50,000 a year, 50,000 a year. Every single year, 50,000 more people are being arrested per year. Okay? For drug offenses. Drug offenses. No one was offended. Sorry, just want to clarify that. You know, and so now it's just like people. I see people from other countries come into my video and they just stay and watch for like 20 minutes on average per person, and then you get people from other countries, like my country, United States, and it's 30 seconds. They come in, oh, I've been already acclimated to this. Turn around and walk out. And I'm telling you, honestly, the other day, this is gonna scare some people, but honestly, there's a reason these zombie movies stick out. I'd had this realization. There's a reason these zombie movies really stick out as a creepy thing for us, like in comparison to some of the undead masses or unwashed masses, what do you want to call it? Because really, that's what it's going to be like. People are going to be walking around. They've got fluoride in their water. They're going to be having sores and stuff all over their faces because society's breaking down. They can't get a hold of food. You know, they got GMO in the food. They got cancer. I mean, you ever seen a person with cancer, just a hole rotting on their face? I mean, and they're going to be like this because they're going to be, I mean, they're going to just keep putting more and more fluoride in the water. You know, and there's going to be like this little corporation of people, and they're going to be all sitting around. There's probably going to be androids walking around and stuff. I mean, it's probably going to actually be like the movie Resident Evil if you really want to know the truth. Because aren't those zombies? You can like shoot the zombies and they'll fall down dead, right? I mean, I can't remember. It's been a while since I saw that stuff, but I haven't watched every single one of those movies or anything. But you know, it's gonna be creepy, man, when society finally breaks down to that point, because people are gonna be drooling out the side of their mouth, asking for more. You know what I mean? You know, as long as you put it on television, I guess. I hope at some point. I hope at some point that the internet takes over, man. Anyways, I'm done. I don't have anybody on my Justin TV, but if you happen to watch me on Justin TV, come watch me on YouTube. Talking about life. You can join me there. Okay, so that's over. And if you happen to be watching me on YouTube, you can watch me on Justin TV sometimes, Politics 101 when I'm live, but you know, it probably won't happen.